we need to look at those institutions which can transform societies. Now, you can say, yes, education is also important. Culture and arts important. We are not denying that. But states which are going through internal crisis, the theoretical model we are giving is, for those states where internal crisis, instability, violence, terrorism, rise in crime is the major issue, you'll have to deal with those issues first and foremost through local law enforcement. So the first message or the first idea that we have talked about is that you can fix a problem which is law enforcement related, which is structural through reform of the institutions which are responsible for that. When we talk about police, this is law enforcement. So it means law. For law and law enforcement, you need to have a criminal justice system. And police is a central part of criminal justice system. But what is criminal justice system? Criminal justice system is a part of rule of law. What is the impact of rule of law? Rule of law helps democracy. This is a chain. This is a cycle. By just you give me an information on that street corner, there is a criminal gang or a terrorist hiding. There'll be one way a military action will take place. You take out a gun, you go try to take care of it. Law enforcement model is, you as a police officer will find whether this information is concocted, it is coming from vested interest, or is there something concrete? So you start developing the basic case. You are not the judge. You take that case or that information or that evidence to court of law. And there, if the person is convicted, then the whole legal system works. It is very different from using a bullet. The model that you pursue in any country has deep impact on that state structure and that society. That's the central point.
That issue about the legitimacy of government does not touch people as much as it does through those who enforce the laws that are passed, hopefully by a democracy, because it is the police who most people have contact with, whether it's getting a parking ticket, a traffic ticket, or when you dial 911 or call for an emergency because you've been victimized. It is the police who everybody has that person-to-person contact, and the power that the government gives to that police officer to do something that nobody else can do, which is take a person's liberty away, incarcerate them, prosecute them, stigmatize them in a way that no other institution can. And when it is that institution that lacks legitimacy, I would argue that no other government institution has legitimacy, and why it is so critical that police in any country must have legitimacy and the support of the community to be effective and to permeate throughout the country. The United States, which I won't go into too much detail, you can all read the articles that are in here, but the United States has gone through a pretty significant evolution in policing. Now, there is much that needs to be done, and things are certainly not perfect. But if you think back to policing about a century ago, which in the scheme of things is not that long ago, it was very different, especially in large urban areas like New York or Los Angeles. It was the era of political policing, as I mentioned, a time when policing was politics. The police were simply an arm of those who were politically powerful, or the elite.
Oddly enough, the measure of power, the quotient of power that a police officer or any other official enjoys, in my estimation, in Pakistan, is the ability to abuse that power. If you can't abuse power, you are not respected. This is a social norm. If you can't, the best police officer, and Hassan can speak about his colleagues, I'm sure, and knows about that norm, even though he has fled the hound of heaven, so to say, and come here in better climes and can speak about Los Angeles and NYPD and their donuts. But the best police officer, the most respected police officer in Pakistan, and this is a social, societal value, unfortunately, is the one who is yaron ka yaar, who is a friend of friends, who will twist the law, who will twist the rules, who will go out of his way to help a friend. If his friend if a friend has violated the law, and I am the district police officer, the society expects me to help him. Otherwise, I am a kind of a coward, I'm looked down upon, I'm sneered at, I'm a weak officer. I'm not worth the position I'm in. I think that requires a change of mindsets and social values. I think the great challenge is to determine a counter to the suicide bomber. How technology will develop, I really am not terribly aware of that. I'm not competent on that, whether technologically it can be done. But what I think needs to be done is to isolate the mindset and isolate the mindset and make it redundant. And to make this mindset redundant, the mindset of a young man who wants to kill himself, obviously he thinks he's going to make a contribution to society and make it better. This is his perverted sort of a thinking in killing not just combatants, but killing innocent people, because these suicide bombers attack bazaars and shopping centers and colleges, schools. But the important thing to my mind is that again we come back to the same thing. A first step and a major step in making this mindset redundant is by having a society of laws and a society with rule of law. Because it is the frustration of this young man who finds that he lives in a society which has arbitrariness and which does not have an equal application of law that spawns the mindset that makes people, young men, go and opt for suicide bombings. So we are back to the situation and back to the starting point, that there is necessity of rule of law in Pakistan, and we must support all efforts that seek to bring that about. Thank you very much.